Good evening, aloha, and welcome to Stupid O'Clock News. I'm Lewis Lee. And who are you? What are you doing on screen? Get out of here. A New York City woman was trying to find the source of a draft in her apartment when she discovered something really disturbing. Samantha Hartsoe traced the draft to her bathroom mirror, realizing it was the source of the cold air moving fast enough to make her hair move. Documenting the discovery in a 4-part TikTok series, Samantha pulled off the mirror from the wall and discovered a hole in the wall that leads to another room. Wearing a face mask and headlamp, brandishing a claw hammer for protection, Samantha climbed through the hole to the other side. She was shocked to find there was an entire apartment on the other side, apparently being renovated. She walked through the 2-story apartment, ending her trek at the front door, which she made sure was locked. Upon seeing the TikTok videos, her landlord immediately doubled her rent. 2 apartments, 2 rents. That's it. Let's start the show.
Wow. Oh.
True story, except for the rent part.
Yeah.
I
read
about that earlier today, actually.
I wouldn't put that past the rent thing at all.
Especially if it's rent control.
Yeah, in New York City. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Kyle.
Hey.
Gee, that's odd. I thought you weren't going to make it tonight.
We're wondering where everybody is. We usually got a full crowd.
Well, John doesn't get paid this month because he hasn't been here enough.
We'll see about it.
Well, so no, Dakota couldn't come down this weekend, actually, it turns out. And so yeah. But here's the reason I'm late. The reason I'm late is because of this wonderful little product right here.
Red Stripe?
Red Stripe beer. Very delicious beer.
Yes,
Hadn't had it in a while. Was like, you know what? I'm going to go buy some Red Stripe. That'll be great.
Mm.
And I don't think that taste is worth the pain and anguish that I'm going through trying to find my freaking bottle opener because I cannot find it. I opened this one
You can use mine.
I wish. I opened this one using the edge of my desk and realized that might be a little too loud. It's 11 p.m. It might be a little too loud for the neighbors. I can't find. I own 2 and I can't find either of them. So I found something and I'm like, you know what, this might work. I might be able to figure out a way of jerry-rigging this to work as a bottle opener. It's a staple gun.
Okay, I see one way it could work and one way you hurt yourself, and not by driving staples into your head.
I was gonna say, by the way, this is empty. There's nothing in it. It's unloaded. But
as he sticks a staple into his camera.
Yeah, now we're going to get a strike because we're using props from 1999.
But here was one of the ways I was thinking. I was thinking this edge right here, right? And then kind of when you press it in and it goes click, right? And then you can kind of pop it open that way. That's the
You could
first
always
one I
put
was
it
thinking.
closer to. You could also put it closer to the hinge and see if you can, and like a pair of pliers.
Like this, like just kind of put it on there like that, and I'll
Yeah.
try it either way. As soon as I finish this beer, when I get to the next one, so we'll have some fun experimentation with with
How to open a capped bottle.
yeah.
Hey,
Now, Dan, you just gave me a brilliant idea when you said
God,
Space
not again.
1999.
I do want to point out that worst case scenario. I do have an owl. I just puncture a hole in it and sip out of it like it's a sippy cup. So.
Or a big knife. Well, not big, medium-sized pocket knife, and cut a triangle in the lid the cap.
The only pocket knife I own, literally the only one I own, is all calcified. I don't want to stick that into a bottle.
No. Go down to the hardware store and buy you a brand new one, preferably stainless steel, just for bottles. I mean,
well, like I said, I have a bottle opener around here. I know I do, and I was sitting there thinking the whole entire time. I was like, I've seen it recently because I was moving. I was moving in. I know I've seen that bottle opener around here, and it's driving me nuts that I can't find it.
Yeah. No,
when you will, it's probably in a box. Now, what did I inspire you to screw up this time?
If you look at the not the Blue Origin lander or the SpaceX lander that has been proposed for Mars, but the other one, if you look at it, they've got the capsule in the middle. I could see them just a few tweaks to put the capsule off to the side and make it look like the cargo ships from Space 1999.
Those were the coolest thing. All those lunar shuttles.
Eagles.
Cool.
Yeah, the Eagles. Yeah,
the Eagles.
That was is it Derek Meddings? The special effects designer that did those. He also did some stuff for I believe it was oh crap. Now I'm having a senior moment. It was the movie with Bruce Dern, with all the three little droids that Huey Dewey gave rise eventually to R2D2.
I know what you're talking
Silent
about.
Running.
I can't remember. I was supposed
Silent
to
Running.
Hilo.
But yeah, I could see them converting that into an Eagle. That would be, I mean, Elon, forget Starship Lunar Lander. Build an Eagle and fly it up in the Starship.
Really? You got a cargo compartment, right?
You got a cargo compartment that it'll fit in.
I want to say, right, that if this whole entire thing with SN with the SN series,
Yeah.
if it works out the way that we want it to, and we do have way more space exploration and more corporations get involved with space exploration, and eventually we are going to have shipping companies. And I would like to see
you have trucking companies. Yeah,
exactly. Space truckers. Have you guys ever seen that flick?
I've heard of it.
It reminds me of one of the ideas behind
that's annoying.
Alien, the first movie. They were supposed to be space truckers.
Yeah, they acted like it too. Like even what's his name had a trucker hat.
Yeah, and that's a logical outcome of moving industry into space. You got to have somebody haul the product to and fro.
But you've never seen space truckers?
Don't think I've ever heard of it before.
Heard of it, but
you guys got to see Space Truckers. Holy crap! You've got to see Space Truckers. It's a Dennis Hopper Charles Dance movie.
Oh, now Dennis Hopper's in it. I know I got to see it.
Oh yeah, no, Dennis Hopper plays.
That man is wonderful. I don't care what he does.
They are literally space, like they're space truckers. They have spaceships. They look like semi trucks, and they have cargo trailers and everything. When they start the movie off, one of the very first things that old Dennis Hopper does, one of his first deliveries is he has square pigs. They are pigs that have been perfectly bred for shipping because you can stack them.
Because you can fit all of them in a square container.
It is available to buy or rent on YouTube.
I
ain't written a damn thing from YouTube. I'm sorry.
I've done it. I've done the rent from YouTube thing. It is fine, and it was fine when back in the day. It didn't. Nowadays, I don't. Nowadays, I don't want to give certain companies money, so I just don't. But back in the day when I was like I used to go like hang out with Boomer around in Huntsville and stuff like that. When I used to drive to Huntsville, I get stuck in a hotel room and I'd be bored. I'd just load up YouTube and start renting movies. That's what I would do. And it was fine back then because back then it was like $2.99 a film. I don't mind paying $3 to rent a movie, and you get it. They start the timer on when the movie gets returned back to YouTube, where you can't watch it anymore if you rent it. They start the timer when you first watch it, so you can go ahead and rent it, right, and then wait for everybody to get in and sit down, and then you can watch it, and then it'll start the timer, and you get it for like 48 hours, I think, if I remember correctly. You can watch it as many times as you want in 48 hours, and then eventually you just lose access to it. YouTube keeps you can also purchase the video through YouTube, and I've done a couple of those. And now I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, well, if YouTube ever goes away or changes their policies, I just lost that money, so I don't do that anymore.
Yeah. Oh.
I used to do that with Vudu, VUDU.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got an extensive library, but then I got to, like you said, I got to thinking about it. If they ever shut down,
all that money has become vapor.
Yep.
Well,
but they've been one hell of a class action suit.
Speaking of money becoming vapor, I got an ad today through my email about a computer that should be fast enough to do online streaming with the green screen background. And I put out questions to a couple of people. Lewis was the only one who answered me. And on his recommendation, I went ahead and spent the money. But
Dan,
I hope I didn't lead you astray.
I put an open question to the Stupid O'Clock room on our.
He basically asked if a 3 gig processor was enough, and I'm like, yeah.
Well, unfortunately, it only comes with 8 gigs of RAM, but it can be upgraded to 64.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more RAM you have, the better.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Remember, here's the thing with RAM. It's very important that people understand how RAM actually works. Because for some reason, they had these advertisements back in like the in the 80s and especially in the 90s, were going on about how much RAM. Like the more RAM you have, the better your computer is. It's not necessarily true. What RAM does,
if you got a slow processor, you can have all the RAM in the world and it won't help.
Yeah. Think about RAM. The best way to think about RAM, this is how I always explain it to people at Best Buy when I work there. RAM is like your staff. You're the boss, but you have your staff below you, right? If you have 8 gigs of RAM, that's like having 8 people on a project. Right off the bat, you got to send 2 of your people away. Right off the bat, you got to take 2 of your people and you go, okay, you guys are in charge of making sure that Windows runs correctly. And then every time you run a program, you have to know how many of those gigs or percentages of those gigs is going to be needed to run that program. You know, after, if you only have a few gigs of RAM, you only have like 4 gigs of RAM, and you're running Windows 10, you just ate up all of your gigs right there, just running Windows and, a web browser. That's it. It's gone. You can kiss it goodbye. So
You can't even play
it's not
solitaire.
it's not having more RAM makes your computer better. It's having more RAM makes it so that your computer can do more things at once, which is very important for streaming because you have to run Windows, obviously, because it's the base program. It's the operating system. You have to run
the browser.
And then you
have to hook up to StreamYard.
Yeah,
and anything else you're doing.
Yeah, and you also have, because the browser is going to be using up several, a couple gigs of RAM. If you're using OBS, that's going to use up a couple more gigs of RAM. If you, so it really does come down to you got to have a pretty beefy computer, and I've got a pretty beefy computer, and I'm not even running OBS right now. The only thing that I have running, I have Discord running because I was on there earlier, and it's always running. I have that, and I have Chrome. That's it. And I'm already noticing I'm having issues. I'm having little bits of delay, and I know it's not EPB because it's on my end.
Yeah.
So
shoot me an email where I can look up OBS.
Okay.
And the thing is, I'm not going to load this computer down and make it my regular workhorse. I've got a KVM switch. I'm going to switch back and forth between my normal desktop for email and browsing and shit like that. This one is only going to be for Stupid O'Clock and other shows and my music program, because the music program is really the upgrade that I just recently got. It does not want to run on a 1.5 gig. Processor.
All the voices, all the different instrument voices really take a lot of RAM. One real simple, probably oversimplified analogy I used to give people for the explanation of RAM versus hard drive, because they would say, well, what's the difference? Okay, imagine you're at a buffet. Okay, the buffet line is your hard drive. Everything that you've got, everything that's available to you is right there. Now, RAM is your plate. Now,
yes.
The bigger the plate, the bigger your plate, the more stuff from the buffet you can put on there at once.
Yeah, and Brian K. Morris just asked a question about how much
it seemed to help.
Is there for you need for streaming? As far as I understand, for everything I read, it's not the RAM. It's your processor in the motherboard that has to be absolutely deluxe.
You need two things that are very
video
important. Card. Yeah, you need two things that are very important.
Video card
you have to have your central processing, or your CPU has to be beefy, and B, your GPU, graphics processing unit, has to be beefy. Those two things are what you need. So what I would recommend getting, you just need a decent processor and motherboard, but definitely get a gaming graphics card. And I'm not saying go out and buy a 3020, TI from NVIDIA that costs $1,000. You don't have to do that for green screen stuff. You just need to get something that's, DirectX capable. I would probably say like DirectX Shader 12. You can probably find a discount graphics card online that is one of the older models. If you're not going to be doing any gaming, that's all you need.
Skunk, wouldn't you say the easiest way is just make sure you've got a graphics card that has its own RAM, its own dedicated RAM? Because if your graphics card is having to steal RAM from your system, number one, it's going to be slower. Number two, it's going to slow down everything else on your system. So
apparently with this unit, the graphics card has 4 gigs itself.
Perfect.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a better computer.
4 gigs on board RAM on a graphics card, and the 8 gig in the processor. Now I would go ahead and up your RAM at least to 16 gig.
I'm going to go ahead and
max your music out. Okay, well, if you can afford it, max it out. You can
Oh.
never have too much RAM. Too much
I've
RAM
got a job. I
has
can
never
afford
been
it.
a problem.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. There's no such thing, like Lewis is saying, there's no such thing as too much RAM, right? There is such thing as having more RAM than you need, but
Yeah.
that's also like having a double-sized fuel tank in your truck, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily need it.
The speedometer on my car goes to 140. Have I ever hit 140?
No.
No.
Never been to New Mexico, have you?
See, like my work van, its speedometer goes all the way up to 120. No wait, I think it's 130. I don't remember how fast it goes. But that don't matter because it's governed at 90 miles an hour.
Well, my car would do 140. I've chosen not to.
There you go.
Exactly.
Well, I found out an HHR's max speed is 108.
Okay.
Downhill with the wind behind it. Huh?
No,
Joe Dog,
flatland.
Joe Dog, you remember the big 78 Dodge van that I had, the big one, the one that used to be a church bus? Yeah, I had that thing doing $110 before. Holy crap. In that big gigantic monster with its 23-foot wheelbase.
Brian picked up on that, I see.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, what about the church bus?
But it's a big 22, 23-foot wheelbase. I mean, this thing is huge. I got it doing over 110 miles an hour on side streets. It was not on the interstate. And I'm blowing past other vehicles that are like, what in the world? Because here comes the silver bullet. I think it was going like a missile. Thank God for 1970s V8 technology, because holy crap, that thing was. And I've never been able to get down to that particular part of Knoxville in less than 5 minutes, and I did it that day because I was already an hour late.
There was only once in my life that I ever exceeded 110 in any vehicle. I was on my motorcycle, and I was in a hurry at night on an empty highway trying to get home from an event where I had not been drinking. And I hit 140. And I'm hanging on to the handlebars with a full face helmet on going, I ain't never doing this shit again. And I never have.
Well, that van, when my dad sold that van, I looked at him and I was like, he's selling the van off to the guy. The guy's going to fix the transmission. He's probably just going to turn around and sell it again. And my dad was like, yeah, probably. And once I found out about the transmission thing, I probably shouldn't have sold it. But to be completely fair, I found out about the transmission thing from the guy who bought the van. So it's like, I didn't know we could just fix it. It seemed like it was dead. And I remember all the problems we have with the Pinto. I said, I know. I said, well, we really should have done those. We should have dropped that 360 engine out of that thing and just sold the shell because the engine ruled.
Fastest I've ever been was across Chickamauga Dam. 68 Olds 442. No, it was the Cutlass. It was the Cutlass. It wasn't the 442. Had a 455 in that we built. Me and my friend built. He was driving. When you stuck your finger down on the cam, the lobe came up to my thumb. The lift. Dan's a mechanic.
Whoa.
Yeah.
At 55, it was still thumping. It was still counting at 55. The main hood latch was broke. He had a dog chain to hold it down.
Been there, done that after hit a
we
deer.
We crossed the dam and the hood started doing this. I said, dude, what are you going to do if that hood flies up? His exact words. He turned like this, looked at me and went, duck. Never rode with him again.
Cool under fire. Gotta love it.
You finally found somebody crazier than you are.
Yep.
So that, what I was talking about earlier with the van, that was the fastest I ever had that van go. That's not the fastest I've ever driven myself. It is not the fastest I've ever rode. The fastest I've ever rode in a vehicle, oh God, this is going back high school days. Dusty Howard had a 1980 Trans Am, and it originally had the 350 4-bolt main in it. But then we got another engine for it. It was a 400, and we boarded over to 20 over, 5 on each cylinder. So we made it into a 440, and so we got 440 pistons and put it into it. And I mean, so we got a small block 440 was what we had, or what he had. And he got the tunnel ram for it. Didn't put a supercharger on it. I said, oh, it's a mistake. I feel like you bought the tunnel ram, you get the supercharger for it. This thing's gonna look stupid, but it looked all right. You know, with the bug catcher instead of the shaker on it. And of course, he put the semi-slick sport tires on the back, and the big fat ones. He didn't tub it out. I told him he should have tubbed it out. This thing looks like the redneck mobile from hell because of how much it was higher up in the ass end. But holy crap, did that thing fly! I've never seen a speedometer get pegged and continue accelerating before. That thing was, we were 75 southbound. We had that thing at 160, and the speedometer doesn't go any higher than that. The needle just kept moving, so we don't know how fast we were going. Holy crap, what it screaming too. He had it down in 5th gear, just launch. I mean, it was, if we had hit anything, prepare for takeoff, because that's what it was at that point. Man, and that is I got to be honest, I didn't tell him this, but that was the most scared I've ever been in a vehicle before, because I was like, if we hit something, that's it, we're dead. We're dead. There is no miraculously survived. No, at these speeds, we're going to be vaporized. But hell, it was fun.
Oh, yeah.
We snapped the night in that Oldsmobile, we snapped the speedometer cable.
Well, I've done that going slow. I did that going 40. It's not hard to do. Where did I put that stapler?
We broke the speedometer.
All right, let's see here. This might work.
Of course, the fastest I've ever been was, well, probably in that car, but the fastest controlled I've ever been was in a 99 Corvette on a hot lap at Talladega.
Wow.
And I'm going to tell you, as you're headed down that back stretch, the only thing going through your mind is, God, I hope this sticks, because we're about to run side on into a wall.
Either.
Oh, okay.
Seriously, that is the banking of Talladega.
Yeah, Talladega's it's over 33. I know that. I can't remember exactly how much it is though.
Is that brick or pavement?
Asphalt.
Okay.
What is Talladega?
Brick.
Yeah, Talladega is.
I was about to say Talladega's asphalt. There is no.
Yeah.
These cars are going over 200 miles an hour. They ain't hitting bricks.
Yeah.
They do sometimes when they go sideways.
They do it at Indy, but it's only a 3-foot wide strip of bricks at the start-finish line.
Oh. You
Hence
can tell
the name.
I'm old school.
The Brickyard.
Yeah, the Brickyard. Yeah.
Brickyard.
You can tell I'm old school, because most of the guys that I know that are doing that on the amateur circuit are using dirt tracks, and most of the guys that I grew up with,
That ain't gonna work.
back in the day, were with regulars behind them.
I will be. You know what? I'm gonna be right back. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna be right back. I might not come back at all. Okay, but I'm going to.
You get a beer open, you're not coming back?
I'm going to find this freaking. It's pissing me off now. I gotta find it. I gotta find out where my bottle opener is. I'll be back.
All right.
Okay.
And you were talking about dirt track racing, Dan. You have got to
Yeah,
watch. You've got to watch the Bristol race this year.
Oh,
The big NASCAR, the big Cup Series. They've put dirt on the track at Bristol and turned Bristol into a half-mile super speedway dirt track.
That doesn't sound
there's going
safe.
to be a lot of sliding around on that. Woof.
The super late modifieds are turning 14-second laps in a half mile.
Hmm.
Ooh. Okay, I can just barely wrap my mind around that, but yeah, I think I can get there. That's a concept I have trouble with, but I think I can embrace it.
Yeah, that's 2 miles in under a minute.
About 120 miles an hour.
Yeah, more like 140, 130 if they're going under a minute.
Under 2. Yeah, under a minute. It's going to be interesting. It's the first time they've raced on dirt in over 53 years.
They're going back to the roots of where racing began, with
They got to do something.
Runners going all through the back roads and the logging trails and everywhere else, trying to avoid the
NASCAR has made some pretty bad decisions in recent years. They've got to do something to get their fan base back up.
Rebuild the fan base. Yep.
Yeah. Whew. Well,
guys, how can you not love a face like that?
She's cute.
She
reminds me of Bill the cat.
And she's just laying in my lap like that.
My dog does not like to do that. She's not real close cuddly, you know? I mean, she's a great dog, but she's just not, you know.
And if I stop petting her, she reaches and grabs my hand or sticks her nose up to where I am constantly petting her, constantly rubbing her.
She needs reassurance.
She's spoiled rotten's what she is.
She's insecure.
Who did that?
What she is.
Well, like I said, when she almost died, there was a lot of rubbing and petting and, trying to comfort her. And she ain't forgot that. Hey, we got Willow Schuyler in here. Hey, Willow. Thanks for tuning in.
Hey, Willow.
I want to throw a quick shout out to Brian Morris for throwing us the thumbs up.
Are you sure that's the finger he used?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. After that, what I posted the other day about him and Carl, maybe not.
May have been a variety of fingers.
Yeah.
Just an entire gang sign.
Hey.
Oh, and I told Lewis, you know about the Vulcan blessing.
The Vulcan blessing?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean, greeting, live long and prosper.
Yeah, greeting.
You know they have a curse?
Die
young and broke.
I think.
Funny.
Wait a minute.
There come on, Dan.
You can do this one.
There, I can do that.
Oh, it's been so long. I speak with an accent.
Let's see.
There you
go.
go.
Combination.
That just made my hands hurt.
Oh.
Put you down, please. You're like trying to hold a nuclear reactor. You're so hot. Here, get your box. All right. What did you say, Dan?
Feels like you're trying to hold a nuclear reactor. You're so hot. I said, it sounds like my wife, especially after menopause. We don't even need a heater in the house.
Yeah,
Talk about global warming. I know what's causing it.
yeah, I got one myself going right now.
Oh, not that I'm
What?
complaining.
I see you cocking your head. What'd you see?
Oh no, I accidentally I was on Facebook checking the status of something, and I was going to click back on the StreamYard, and I accidentally clicked hi, and it was a People tab,
People magazine.
and it's on the Chrome. It's on the Chrome menu. You got Chrome, then you got File, Edit, View, History, Bookmarks, People. I just had never seen that before, so that's why I did the data.
Oh, they added something new.
Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of data, we got some data points we need to cover.
Oh yes,
Oh,
we did.
yes.
Yes, go ahead, grab you a screenshot of this. We got a little confused
Hey,
on some
Morris,
of the.
listen up. Grab a screenshot. Uncle Carl, grab a screenshot. This is prettier
All
than
right,
what you use.
Dan, be nice.
I
I
am.
mean, Lewis is a
Lewis worked really
fantastic graphic
hard on
artist.
this. It worked really well.
Yeah,
It was
we
beautiful.
we just sort of got a little confused on some of the
Yeah, just
broadcast
send me
network.
those corrections, and I'll get that done tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Well, first, let's say Stupid O'Clock and Armchair Rocket Science are proud members of the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. Our program schedule right now is Sunday, Comics, Chaos, and Sass with Heather Ellen on her channel. It's broadcast here on Facebook. On Mondays, Never Mind the Furthermore at 10 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube on the Rising Tide Broadcast Network, Rising Tide Publications, Rising Tide BKM on YouTube, and Brian K. Morris's personal page here on Facebook. Tuesday at 8 p.m. is Clever Title Pending on the same channels at 8 p.m. And TED Talks, which is Ted Davies Artistry, at 10 a.m. That's on YouTube. And I think he's broadcasting now on Facebook also. Wednesdays, 10 a.m. is Nevermind the Furthermore. Thursday is the big busy day of TED Talks. I think he talks time. He has a page, has a show where he talks about watches and timepieces at 11 a.m. And then at 7 p.m., Comic Book Spectrum on Facebook and YouTube, the Brian K. Morris Rising Tide pages. Creative as Hell is at 8 p.m. here on Facebook, and then Stupid O'Clock at 9 p.m. I'm sorry about that. Friday is Nevermind the Furthermore again at 10 a.m. At 7 p.m. is Michaela Jade's Tidbits and Scribbles at 7 p.m. on YouTube. And at 8 p.m. is Nick Talkard's Historical Fencing Guild on YouTube. Then Saturday night is Stupid O'Clock at 11 p.m. here on Facebook and YouTube.
Which you're currently watching, so you already know about that one.
Yeah. And then the wild card is Armchair Rocket Science whenever launch is scheduled by NASA, SpaceX, Blue Origin, ULA, Northrop Grumman, Rocket Lab. We cover a lot of launches, and tomorrow is
Have Rocket, we'll watch.
You Have Rocket, we will watch. And there is another one starting at 10 p.m. tomorrow night, launching from Cape Canaveral, Florida. And let me go ahead and turn that off.
Cargo going to be on that one.
Mm-hmm.
The one that you're tired of watching.
Oh, Space Link.
Yeah, it's another one. Yeah.
Starlink, I mean.
Yeah.
Ted and his wife have a brand new show about mixed drinks that looks like they're going to have a lot of fun with. I don't know what the schedule for that is.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
And then Carl actually said Lewis did a much better job, smaller fonts. But he likes the Facebook and YouTube symbols better than what he did.
Thank you, Carl. Appreciate it.
Hey,
I started out as a graphic
ever
designer
led y'all
way back in the early 80s. So I've been doing graphic design since light tables and PMTs. And
thank you, Brian. That's exactly what I was talking about. Drinking with the Davies, Friday night at 6:30 p.m. That's going to have to go on the schedule.
Yeah. And then
the stupid after show. Now, we don't want to add that to the
public
show.
consumption.
That's like green room. You don't tell people about the after show.
And Carl, tell Donna we said good night. Hope she has sweet dreams.
And well, it won't be about any of us.
So I got good
Did you
news.
find it?
I was going to say I got good news and I got bad news.
Yeah.
The bad news is that no, I didn't find it. The good news is that I found a pair of channel locks.
That's my boy.
And by God, if you got the right proper tool, you can get anything done.
If at first you don't succeed, get a bigger hammer.
I use a flat blade screwdriver. Just start prying around.
Look, I thought about that. You know
It
who
would-
doesn't?
it will work.
You know who doesn't have a flat blade screwdriver?
You?
All of my screwdrivers are Phillips because that's what computers use.
That's what computers use. Yes.
That's why I
There's
have
something I got
reversible
here.
screwdrivers.
I think I have a reversible screwdriver around here somewhere, but
Oh, I'm going to tell you, Brian K.
Are you
Moore's
now?
Rising Tide Network is getting so big with so many shows. You need 10 minutes to talk about all the shows.
Really? I mean, they're bigger than CBS now.
wait. Did you do the show report yet?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, because
Yep.
I was going to say I can do it and I can have it done in under 2.
Yeah. Well, we're actually going to rework the graphics. A program note to Brian Morris. If you could shoot me a message of channels and time, shows, channels, and times, I'd appreciate it. I'll get it forwarded to Lewis.
Hey, who wants to time me on this? I want to see how fast I can get through the whole entire thing.
All right, we will later towards the end of the show.
We'll do it at the end of the show. You just remind me, and we'll time it because I want to know how fast I can get through the whole entire thing.
This is what you need.
A multi-tool. A
Ger-
Leatherman.
A Gerber. Don't get a Leatherman. Don't get cheap. No. Get a Gerber. It'll last you forever. And you've got everything that you need. Okay. This one even has a saw. But let's see. Right here.
On the one I've got, the bottle opener is attached to the saw.
Here's your bottle opener.
Yep. That's bottle opener and a can opener.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So
I used to have
I have one
a Boy Scout
in a
knife
sheath.
that had a really good can opener.
What were you saying?
I have one in a sheath on my belt, on my side, anytime I'm dressed. Because seriously, I'm always needing something like pliers or a knife or something. And this has got it all. This one's got a really good knife too. I mean, that thing can sharpen it. The one on my other Gerber is serrated, and you can't sharpen serrated blade, scallop blades by yourself. This one, I've got a sharpener. I can make this one like a razor. So
Well, I got a question, Lou.
Technically, you can, but you need needle files.
But Joe, go ahead, and I've got a question for Lewis.
All right. When you were in the news department, going into the courthouse or whatever, with that with the big camera over your shoulder, would you have to check that at the thing, or
they considered it a tool of the trade because they knew the crappy tripod I had. I was constantly having to tighten up that friggin' nut.
So you didn't have to.
Nope. They let me in with it every time.
Okay, that was.
Well, my question is, where did you get that thing?
This one I got at Wally World.
So
Walmart.
just go to Walmart.
Yeah. Go to the hunt and fishing section.
Yeah.
And they've got these all day long. Now they're expensive. This one was about $45, I guess.
Oh, and that's not expensive to me.
Well, but it'll last forever, Well, what I'm saying, you can get a multi-tool for $5.
Yeah,
every penny.
Oh, now, what is that? The MP 600?
No, it's the let me see, where is the model number on this one? The model number is not imprinted on it. It's just Gerber.
Let me look real quick so I can get a picture of it.
Okay.
So I was playing in Space Station 13 a long time ago, and they had an item in the game called the multi-tool. And what you would do with the multi-tool is like if you're working on wires or something in the game, you could pulse the wires, you could mend the wire, you could do all sorts of weird stuff with this thing. And it was called the multi-tool. And it was driving me nuts because what Lewis has is a multi-tool.
Mm-hmm.
I know what a multi-tool looks like.
Yeah.
This thing was this thing was yellow and it was long and it had a round end on it and it looked like it had a little green screen. It took me forever to finally figure out what it was. It was a multimeter.
Oh God!
They called it a multi-tool. I'm like, that's not what that's actually kind of cool.
You can actually find out how many volts the electric fence you've got to cut through is running, but you can't cut through it with the multi-tool.
That was one of the one of the things that they would tell you. Though. It was really funny when you were playing in Space Station 13. If you ever saw a pair of yellow gloves, you knew the yellow gloves were insulated. So you'd put the insulated gloves on so you didn't get shocked when you were working on electrical stuff, especially if there was a rogue AI electrifying all of the doors, right? So what me and a bunch of other people would do, because this was something you could do in the game, was you could take the labeler and type in insulated gloves, slap it on a pair of gloves that you've dipped in yellow paint, and then just leave them around on the station and just let people go, ooh, I've got insulated gloves. I'm going to go hack a door.
$31 to $45 on Amazon.
Okay, for this one?
Yep.
Okay. That's a bargain. That's a bargain. This one's got
Wolverine's nightmare right there. Oh my God, my closet turned into
Edward Scissorhands.
We don't.
It's got the straight blade. It's got a straight blade screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver, and a saw.
Mm-hmm.
See the saw, and it's got scissors, and these scissors really work well. A smaller flathead screwdriver, the can opener, bottle opener, and a serrated blade or scallop blade knife.
Here was the thing I was going to say to Joe Dog real quick. Dude, we don't live in California, okay? We don't have same-day Amazon delivery, even though there's an Amazon place like right there. So if I want to get something like this, I'm not going to wait 1 day for shipping, 2 days shipping, whatever. I'm not going to wait. I'm going to drive over to Walmart. I'm going to pay the premium so I can have it right now. Because I'm an American.
I want it now.
Well, you better hurry up because they close in 10 minutes.
It sounds like Veruca.
I think it's the creepiest thing ever in my life.
It's actually Queen. I want it all, and I want it now.
My ex-girlfriend, Veronica, right, Joe, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, she used to do this thing where she would do vertical assault to me, and it was really creepy. And she would climb up on my lap and put her arms around me and just be like, Daddy, I want another pony. And I'd be like, don't do that. That's creepy. Stop it.
But if you do, it's got to be the knee-high white socks and the plaid skirt.
Oh, she wore that a lot. She seriously, she had a Catholic school
Hey,
grow up.
us little Catholic boys, we learn to pay attention to the plaid.
That comes from the Irish side of the Catholic Church.
Is there any other side?
Yeah. Well,
Oh, those Italians? Nah,
Yeah.
they don't matter.
Veronica definitely had an Irish side to her, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah. There have been many a time that the vodka bottle got disappeared.
Speaking of vodka,
And sometimes it wasn't her making it
I'm going to
disappear.
touch that line, Joe Dog.
I actually bought some vodka this week.
Ah,
Uh-oh.
for the grill?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a volcano tomorrow night at our hibachi night.
You might want to practice a couple
I
times.
did. I did.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
got
he
it
did.
figured out?
He
I
had,
did
he
it
had
twice
the video.
already.
He had the video. The onion volcano was
Yeah, he
really
saw it.
impressive.
So
Okay.
you're actually gonna do. Oh, that's pretty neat, Lewis.
Yeah.
Lewis, that is what you need to sharpen the serrated blade. It is a half curve needle file,
Yeah.
and you can get these at Dollar Tree, and it comes in a pack of 6.
Oh, that reminds me.
Different
I need to give this man some hell right here, Joe Dog.
What'd I do?
So Joe Dog tells me that if I want to get some stuff for the house, specifically, he was talking about kitchen items, I should go to Dollar Tree because you can get them for $1, right? And I go in there.
They
and you
only
can get
last through one use.
You can get like two. It's like 2 metal forks for $1, 2 metal spoons for $1, 2 metal knives for $1. Oh, okay, that's all I need. So it's like $3. There we go. All right, awesome. And I'm at Walmart today, and you can get packs of 4 of each one of those things for 94 cents. I was like, oh, you son of a.
Well, let you know how cheap Dollar Tree's getting. It used to be packs of 4 a year ago.
Not how cheap they're getting. They're going up on their prices. What they're doing.
Yeah, some of them do. Some of them have gone up to. You only get 4 of these for $5 rather than 5 of these for $5.
Skunk, what time do you get off work?
I don't know.
I need to go to Dutch's house and pick up something.
Joseph, you got to remember, dude, I drive for a living. What time I get off work is dependent on a lot of different factors that I have no control over.
All right. I just need somebody to help me load something on a trailer.
If I give you a conservative estimate, I would say 5 p.m.
All right. I'll let you know what day this week.
All right.
Lewis already knows what it is.
So wait, we're taking
yeah. I totally forgotten.
We're taking your truck, right?
No, I'm just going to haul the trailer over there.
Okay. All right. So
That way we don't have to lift it so high.
So we're taking your vehicle.
Yeah.
So I just need to drive over to your place when I get off work.
Yeah.
All right.
Why are y'all making it sound like there's a body involved?
There may be.
Dan, don't ask questions you don't want to know the answers to.
There's a carcass involved.
I just don't know if anybody in government wants to know the answers.
There is a carcass.
Oh, somebody got you a deer.
No.
But
Joe,
it's something that will benefit Halicon.
Joe, I don't know now if I want to get involved.
And if it's a hit, I can bring mine. We can do double trouble.
They plug them, you cook them.
Something like that.
Damn it, this worked the first time. Why is it not working now?
Because you're on camera.
Oh, you bastard.
Just don't chip the glass.
Yeah, Carl posted up drinking with the Davies is 6 p.m. Eastern. On Friday.
We talked about that for a few minutes in the green room last night.
Yeah, Ted's going to try to do a 30-minute show about drinking.
We managed several hours with us drinking, so the green room manages several hours with everybody drinking, so it can be done.
Yeah, Lewis needs to jump in on the green room one Friday night.
Ooh.
He'll run away screaming.
No, he won't. He'll think we're perverts.
I was a bouncer for a bit. I can deal with drunks. I can deal with them better if I can put my hands on them. But I can deal with them.
You say that about all the girls.
My dad owned a bar when I was a teenager, and I spent a couple of summers with him, and I learned a lot about the bar business. And one of the things that I learned from a guy who used to work days at the Manda meatpacking plant was how to bounce.
Well, I can truthfully
This
say
guy
that
was like,
I can truthfully say that I have never seen anybody in the green room yet that needed to be bounced.
No.
Well, that's the great thing about a virtual green room is you don't have to bounce them.
I keep forgetting to get the picture of the thing that I keep seeing at work. I'm going to have to do it on Monday. I keep driving past this one building. I need to get a picture of it.
Oh, yeah, Carl. You got that right. Everything's going to be classy with it.
Carl, it's open. It's open. Here.
Yeah.
This is the bottle cap when I got done with it. I think I figured out a better way of doing it. As you can see, it's a little bent.
What is it, Lewis?
Did you see the latest video that I posted on Facebook from 1989?
The Mel Blanc?
No.
Oh, that was a good one though.
Yeah, wasn't it? That sigh. He's done that gag several times, but with the deadpan response from Jack Benny, it was even better.
Yeah. Jack Benny was such a classic.
I got a hold of the video from the hot air balloon accident that I shot in '89.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Fox 29 or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't watch it. I mean, seriously, I
posted two things from Fox 29. One of them was an old promo, but the other one was the raw footage of this balloon accident. And it's,
yeah,
I saw the promo earlier, but I had to shut off Facebook in order to do other stuff here at the house on the same computer. So I haven't seen that one yet.
That is a subject that I kind of want to bring up that I think is really funny. Talking about you mentioned Mel Blanc. You guys know about the controversy involving Lola Bunny in the new Space Jam sequel?
No, I haven't heard about that. I heard they're going after Pepe Le Pew.
They've been going after Pepe Le Pew. Anyway, listen. So here's the whole entire thing with this, right? Lola Bunny, they quote unquote changed her design. I'm putting that in huge quotes for a reason. So, they show a picture of her. She's wearing, basketball warm-up gear. That's what she's wearing. She's wearing basketball gear. And they're like, oh, look what they did to my girl. Oh, they changed my girl. And also they go back and they post a picture of a picture of Lola Bunny that I want to point out is not from the film, where she's got quite the badonkadonk and a huge set of tits. And it's like,
they like that one, don't they?
If you go back and look at the actual, like Lola Bunny from the actual film, she looks exactly the same as she does in the new film. There's no difference there. These people are misremembering what she looks like based off of cheesecake artwork. I'm like, there's a lot more furries in the world than I thought there were. Some of them just don't know it yet.
Yeah, some of them just haven't realized
I
it.
just and then,
Oh,
but I thought it was great. Was somebody said they were like somebody took the quote like look what they did to my girl. They changed the look of Lola Bunny in the new film, right? Except it was they did the Big Chungus thing. You guys know what that is?
No.
It's you know what? Hold up. I'll just load the picture up and show it on stream. It'll be hilarious. I gotta load Discord back up in order to
Sounds
find
like
it.
these are the same people who are saying that Dr. Seuss is going away.
I actually had that
I think
discussion
it's
with.
literally the two groups that you're talking about are literally two separate groups, and that's the funny part is they're literally two separate groups, but they're both complaining about basically the same thing. They're complaining about something that doesn't actually exist.
Yeah, people just want to hear themselves bitch.
Well, I had this same conversation with my brother-in-law today. He goes, "What do you think of them banning Dr. Seuss?" I said, "Well, one, they're not banning Dr. Seuss. The family that produces, that owns the property, has decided to discontinuing publication. Somebody has
Of
gone
6
in,
books that sucked anyway.
yeah,
These are
it's
6
yeah.
Dr. Seuss books that almost no one has read.
yeah,
Really? I never heard of them before the controversy.
Well,
Yeah.
And
one
I
of
grew up
them,
with Dr. Seuss.
one
it
of
would
them, my
be,
wife read when she was a child.
yeah.
One.
Here's a comparison I gave to him. I said, "What if Little Debbie decided to discontinue 3 of their non-selling properties, their cakes? If they just said we're not going to offer these anymore, they're not selling." It would be
Nobody would bat an eye.
it is the exact same thing. It is intellectual property that is not making any money. It is costing them money to produce.
And
Pretty
the
much,
weird
yeah.
thing about this is it's not an outside force that's causing
No.
this to be done. It is the actual heirs of the estate that are going, Granddad had a couple of really questionable things back in the day, and we've moved beyond that. So,
And
in order to greater honor his memory and keep him
Yeah.
from looking like whatever, we're just not going to print any more of these 6 out of his 157 million books.
Yeah. And I want to point out too that like I went back and I looked at the artwork. Okay, some of the stuff it was really controversial. I could understand why people would have been upset at these books, but at the same exact time, none of it was done in hate. None of it, not a
No,
single
it
bit
was
of it
just
done
out
in
of
hate.
ignorance.
It was
the times we were living in.
Yeah, and it was literally like one of the books was about how you see different types of people walking around. You see different types of people, and one of those people happened to be an Asian gentleman, and he used a word that we don't use anymore. That's fine, I understand that, and yes, the drawing was a caricature. But that was the point was, I mean, what were they supposed to do? Replace the artwork with him being in a business suit? Well, then people would have said that that's racist for some reason. It's just, whatever. I would rather them do exactly what they did. We're just not going to print these books anymore. Nobody was a fan of these books. You still got Green Eggs and Ham. You still got Horton Hears a Who. You still got the Lorax. You still got all of the books.
Yeah,
Got
Cat in the Hat. Yeah.
On the other hand, then there's this.
Is that Lola Bunny?
That's
The original Lola?
No. That's the Big Chungus Lola. Big Chungus was a meme where somebody drew Bugs Bunny like that, and it didn't called it Big Chungus. I don't know why they called it Big Chungus, but it was a thing that they did. It was pretty funny. Somebody drew that for Lola Bunny in response to all of the the controversy.
That was Lola 8.5 months after she first met Bugs.
I think so. I don't think the gestation period for rabbits is that long. I think it's
more like 8 weeks.
I don't think people understand that point. People are
I think
not the brightest animals in the world.
I think it's more. I think it's more along the lines of that's Lola Bunny after she got famous, but then her fame faded away because like Space Jam was forever ago, and it's just so she went on the Britney Spears diet, just add gravy to everything.
When you brought up 8 months, did I tell y'all the news about my grandkid?
You mean grandkids?
Kids? Yeah.
Yeah, happened live on Thursday's show.
Yeah, we're not going to be. I'm not going to be having a grandkid. We're going to have twins.
Yep.
You got more to spoil.
I can barely afford the 2 I got now. I can't afford 2 more.
The Lord will find a way.
Yeah, Joe Dog, and you're the Lord.
Yeah. No, honestly, the Lord is my son-in-law and now my daughter's last name. His last name is Lord.
So that makes you the evil Baron.
Yeah.
So this is an old joke. It's really funny, right? It's one of those story jokes, though, so it takes a minute. So give me a minute. Daughter shows up at dad's house. She'd been away at college. And she shows up one day and she knocks on the door. It's just like, he answers the door. He's like, oh, it's great to see you. She's like, Daddy, I want to introduce you to my fiance. We're going to get married. And this boy walks up and, hello, sir. It's nice to meet you. Shakes his hand. He's like, come here. I want to talk to you for a minute. And he sits him down in the living room. The wife is, well, what's going on? And, this is the new fiance. I'm going to talk to him for a minute. You go in the kitchen. We want to have some private man time here. She goes, oh, okay. So she walks away. He looks at him and goes, well, son, do you have a job? He goes, no, sir. It's like, why don't you have a job? He goes, God will provide. He goes, okay. Do you have a home? He goes, no, sir. And he goes, okay, why not? He goes, God will provide. And he goes, okay, do you have anything at all? He goes, no, sir. God will provide. Well, the dad thinks about it for a second. He goes, all right. But do you love my daughter? And he goes, yes, sir, I very much do. And I was glad that God introduced us. Okay, all right. Well, I'm done with you. You can go away now. He gets up. He goes into the kitchen, cracks open a beer. The mom turns to him and goes, well, what do you think? He goes, well, ain't got a job, ain't got a home, ain't got a car. He ain't got nothing, but he thinks I'm God.
Pretty much. Don't know how, Skunk, you don't know how true that one is.
I don't want to know how true that one is. I remember when me and Dakota had a bit of a we broke up for a little while and we got back together. And I went up to go visit them. I was talking to their mother, and Dakota had just left the room. And Dakota's mom turns to me and is just like, I'm so glad that you two are back together. Please never go away again. You're the only person that's ever dated Dakota that has a car.
Oh, you want to? It's time for me to rant because I just found something that sent me into a rant.
Blue Cross Blue Shield?
Yeah, about Blue Cross Blue Shield. Got we were somewhere and Blue Cross had one of these little setups, where they're handing out stuff.
Yeah.
And I open the bag and I see this.
Mm-hmm.
And what would you think if you opened a bag from Blue Cross and there's pens and all that and this? What do you think this is?
Hand
Hand
sanitizer.
sanitizer.
Me too. Problem is, I found out
It's holy water.
sunscreen, SPF 30.
Oh, okay.
Nothing like finding you got SPF 30 sunscreen as you're putting on hand sanitizer.
Hold up, Joe Dog. Oh, I would like to. Can I interject a thought process for a minute here?
Yeah. Why didn't I read it?
No, Joe Dog. What month is it?
I got it in February.
Okay. So you got it in February.
Yeah.
You got it in February.
Yeah.
In February. It's not
When
even.
there isn't any sun to
Why?
tan from.
Why? Why would they give you some? What are you gonna do? What, you gonna go outside? It's too freaking cold to go outside. This ain't Florida. Dear God.
I mean, there was nothing like popping it open, squirting it out, going.
That's weird. It's white.
It's like, that's like, oh, come on.
Well, pretty much, yeah, that's what it's like.
Yeah.
Well, oh Christ, Dan.
Dan didn't run up to the line
Good night, everybody.
and started kicking dirt my way.
Oh, that, if anything, deserved a good night, everybody. That was that. Jesus Christ.
And I actually saw it.
Yeah, there you go. Cut out. He had to say it twice. Cut out. The closest I've ever had it to
the green room has ruined me.
a situation. A situation like that, Joe Dog, was. And it was hilarious. We were talking about it. I've had it happen. Somebody on the internet has had it happen. It's even been a thing that was, it was a 9 to 5, right?
Yeah.
Where you go to reach for the item that you think, because you just glance at it, you think it's the item that you're going for, what you're actually going for will kill you. In 9 to 5, it was, the sugar substitute, the sweetener for coffee, getting mixed up with the rat poison, right? And on the internet, there's a famous meme of like the pancake, or not pancake, it's for pancakes, but you can use it for other stuff too. But the butter flavored cooking spray,
Yeah.
right? And it's a Great Value brand sitting right next to the Great Value lemon scented furniture polish, and the cans look identical except for the pictures. One of which is of pancakes, and the other one is of a table. Right? Here's mine. This is back when I used to vape. Right? And my vape was running low, and I reach over and I grab a bottle, and I'm watching whatever I'm watching. And I open up the bottle and I clink the dropper, and I get rid of everything that's in there so I can fill the dropper up properly. And I raise it up, and I'm about to drop whatever is in this dropper. I'm about to drop it inside of my vape when I notice it's a milky white color. And then I look and realize I'm about to put my eardrops into my vape. Because the bottles are identical and they were right next to each other. The only difference between the two bottles was that the one said, that it was, menthol flavored nicotine and, and everything. The other bottle said it was eardrops. They were the same color label. They were both green. I was glad I noticed what color it was before I dropped it in there. Oh, that would have been disgusting.
Lewis, do you remember the comedian Grandma from Hell, Faye Woodruff?
Yeah.
Faye, when Skunk said rat poison, that reminded me of one of her jokes, talking about her third husband. She says, "I'm on my third husband." She said the first husband died from accidental ingestion of rat poison. Second husband died of a head injury. He wouldn't eat the rat poison. The third one's eating the rat poison, but it agrees with him.
This is the worst way to open beers. I'm glad you told me about that, Lewis. I'm gonna pick one. I need to pick up scissors anyway because we don't have scissors in the house.
Oh, you see, you got it all right there on your hip.
I'm telling you.
Well, that was a quick. That
I'm
was
gonna
a
go to
neat
Walmart
move
tomorrow
Dan
and
did.
get that.
What was that?
Well, when you sat down, when you cut your camera on, you were leaned back, and then instantly you were right up, sitting up, adjusting stuff. Then you leaned back again. You max headroomed on us.
I think that was StreamYard. Did that?
It weren't me. I just did
and Carl Whitzman posted this up. Says Dan's getting bad habits from somewhere.
Somewhere.
Oh, I wonder where. Oh, I wonder where. I wonder where Dan is learning bad habits like that. There, Carl.
Yeah, well, I fell in with a bad crowd.
Oh, we were talking about computers earlier.
You fall in with the bad. Sorry.
It reminded me of buying my first computer. You know, I ordered a custom build the first time, and the lady was saying, "Well, what do you want?" I said, "Well, I've definitely got to have 512 of RAM and an 8 gig hard drive. Who in the world will need a hard drive bigger than 8 gig?"
Are you kidding me? The hard drive in the first computer I ever bought was 20 megabytes. And
First computer I had didn't have a hard drive.
I'm talking about actual, real, modern day computers. First computer I ever bought was a Coco 3. You had to plug cartridges in the side. It had like 4K of RAM, 2 of which were dedicated to booting up.
I have a Casio 7000 over here. Casio Tone 7000 over here in the closet. This Mark Michael sold it to me for $75. This is an old. It's not even really a synthesizer. It's basically just an electronic organ. It's really because it's only got like 7 voices, right? So to call this thing a synthesizer would be an insult to Korg and Moog. But my dad's.
But it's not an insult to Casio.
This is and we're talking what I said that this is this is like late 70s, early 80s Casio keyboard. This thing's huge. Part of it's made out of wood and metal. You know, I mean, it's heavy. It's gigantic. You could put it through a car windshield. That's how big this thing is. And my dad's looking at the back of it, and he's just going, "Okay, all right, this is all 1/4 inch." I'm like, "Yeah," and he goes, "It doesn't have MIDI." I'm like, "No, it doesn't." He's like, "Oh, this is old." Then he looks. And I thought for a minute that my dad knew his stuff because he said that. Because he said, "Oh, yeah, it's 1/4 inch. That means it's, professional keyboard. It's got sustain pedal and stuff." I'm like, "Yeah." Anyway, at the back of it, he goes, "What's tape in, tape out?" Well, Dad, that's how you used to program these things, was with tape in, tape. You could actually write a song and save it to a tape, and it didn't record the song to the tape. It recorded the inputs. It did it digitally, like a computer. It's like, don't you remember having a tape deck on like a Commodore 60? You never owned a Commodore 64. And my dad goes, "Oh, yeah. I remember that now. I remember that. They had that for keyboards, too." I was like, I've got some videos to show you on YouTube. Yes, they had them on keyboards. You used to have. That's how you had to like reprogram like your Korg Poly 900s and your DX7s and stuff.
I've actually got a Poly 800.
You've got a Poly 800?
I do believe so. Yes, indeed. At one time, I had 2 of them and a, let's see, don't know if it was a 650, but I had an entire setup of Korg polysymphonic synthesizers. This one had an arpeggiator rather than a step sequencer. So you could hit a random bunch of keys and hit a button, and it would play those over and over again.
Yeah.
In different octaves.
Oh yeah, the Poly 800.
The others had the Poly 800 had a step sequencer, so you could program in a sequence and have it play in whatever voice you chose. I love that damn thing.
Yeah, the Poly 800. Here's the cool thing about the Poly 800. Which I said 900 earlier. I meant 800. That was what I meant. The Poly 800 is awesome. 8-Bit Keys, which is just a side channel of the 8-Bit guy, did a video on the Poly 800. And he was like, I'm not going to go into all of the creating your own sounds with it because it is a full-fledged synthesizer. He said, I'm not going to go into all of that. I'm just going to show how to reprogram it back to the factory sounds because that's all I care about. And he was talking about a couple of other things about it and stuff like that. But what's really cool is that the Poly 800 has been used by some amazing groups. It's got an amazing vintage sound to it. It's awesome because, it's from the 80s. Orbital, Depeche Mode, The Sneaker Pimps, Vangelis, Jeff Downs, Duran Duran, The Yesterdays, and Jimmy Tenor have all used the Poly 800. And you can tell it, too. If you've ever heard one played, you go, that's Depeche Mode for sure. Just like if you ever hear anybody play I want to say it's the SQ80. I think that's the name of the keyboard, the SQ80. I don't remember who manufactures it, but if you've ever heard one played, you'll immediately be like, "That's John Carpenter." Like that's the Thing. That's the keyboard from the Thing. Like you can tell instantly.
I can't remember if that's a Yamaha or
the SQ80. No, it's not a Yamaha. I think it's a sequential, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I can't remember. Joe Dog, you and Lewis commented on Opera Ghost on my newest album. That was actually played on a Poly 800, a Korg Poly 800.
Oh, okay.
In the middle of a haunted house, between the walls, while tape loops were going with noises of witches cackling and bats flying and stuff like that. And, we just happened to have a live tape going of the cumulative effect of what the people were experiencing as they walked through the haunted house.
I want to point out real quick. I looked it up. It's an Ensoniq SQ80. That I was talking about. It's made by Ensoniq. I haven't
heard of those since the 90s. Wow.
Oh yeah, no. That is the SQ80 is probably their most famous keyboard too, which is awesome. And it was. I mean, it's the SQ80 is literally like one of Carpenter's workhorses from before he got really famous. Like once he got really famous, he was just like Brad Fidel. It's just like I've got money now. I'm gonna buy the really expensive stuff. That's why Brad Fidel got that. Oh God, what the hell was the name of that Gigantor thing? We're talking about a synthesizer. Brad Fidel bought a synthesizer he used it on the Terminator 2 soundtrack, which is why that soundtrack is so good. This thing is the size of a room. There's a term in electronic keyboards, electronic pianos. There's a term, right, about how many different notes you can play at once, and it's polyphony, right? If a keyboard has so many note polyphony, that's how many notes you can play at once, because obviously unlike a regular keyboard, there's only so many circuits that you can have going at any one time. A lot of the old vintage synthesizers were one note polyphony. They were mono poly, or not mono poly, mono
Monophonic. Yeah.
Monophonic, thank you. That's the word I was searching for. It's another P word. It throws me off. Monophonic, so they could only play like one note at a time. We're talking about the old school stuff too. We're talking like Moog synthesizer stuff where one note. So when you go to play another note, it would do one of two things. It would either have a glissando to it, where it would glide between the notes, giving you a really funky, like wow, wow, wow sort of noise, or it would just switch automatically to the next note that you played, which gave it a really snappy, good feel. Which if you were like in like a punk band like Devo or something like that, it sounded fantastic. So that was your difference right there, punk and funk. It was great. And then eventually they started getting more, and it started sounding more realistic, right? Here's the thing about this gigantic, huge synthesizer from whatever, I don't even remember what company it was. This thing was huge. Here's how the polyphony worked. Each one had each note. I want to point that out. Note. Each note had its own motherboard. So if you played a key on this keyboard, so if you had 4 motherboards installed on this keyboard, you had 4 voice polyphony. It supported up to 16. So the more, if you wanted to play more notes at once on this keyboard, which, like I said, this thing's the size of a room. It's got its own computer, right? Oh, this thing is, I can't remember what it's called, but it's huge.
You're talking about Tonto.
From Terminator 2. I'm going to look this up real quick.
It was featured as a prop and a synthesizer in Phantom of the Paradise, the one I'm talking about. It was one of the first hand-built polyphonic synthesizers. It was the size of a room. I think it was.
This isn't the thing from Phantom of the Paradise. This thing was newer than that because, like I said, it had a computer attached to it for controlling it. Alex Ball did a video on it. Let me look it up real quick. Let me see. Because this thing is huge too. I remember that. Yeah, because he uses here it is.
Yeah, Carl. They are really hard to get used to once you've had something that actually performs like a piano, where you hit individual keys and get individual notes rather than one key, one note. You can't play chords on it. That's monophonic. You can't play chords. And a lot of the stuff from Dark Side of the Moon was done on monophonic synths, like a Moog 2 or something like that.
Yeah, that's something I know nothing about.
So, okay, here it is, right? Here is the Fairlight CMI Series 3. The Fairlight CMI Series 3 is, like I said, this thing is gigantor. Like I said, for the Alex Ball's video on this that he does, where he explains how the Terminator 2 specifically soundtrack was made, talks about this thing. Now the Fairlight, the first Fairlight CMI, the first one came out in the 70s. The Fairlight Series 3 came out in 85, right? I mean, yeah. Here's the thing. The sampler is the heart of the Fairlight. A 16-bit resolution digital sampler of variable sample rates up to 100 kilohertz. The original Fairlight models used 2 standard 8-bit 6800 processors, and then later were updated to the 16-bit 68000 chips in later versions. The Fairlight 3, the sample memory RAM comes in 28 megabyte chunks per 16 voices of polyphony. Per 16 voices of polyphony. So, not like I said before, there's a card that's a motherboard, the regular computer motherboard size card that goes into one of these things for each note of polyphony. For every 16 one of those cards you insert into this machine, you get 28 megabytes of RAM dedicated to just that. which
Now,
you could go further than 16. The one that they're showing off in the Alex Ball video only has 16 slots, and only 8 of them are filled.
now, the Lewis, this is like you talking about cameras and microphones that you have used over the years. I just happen to understand what Skunk's talking about right now, and so we're on that wavelength. But it's one of those music gig things. So you know,
I got something.
hey,
I got
we
something.
could be talking guitars and be in the same ballpark here.
I have something I can talk with each one of these gentlemen. I have something I can talk to you about. With Dan, I can talk about keyboards, musical instruments, and stuff like that. With Lewis, I can talk about film production and camera work. And with Joe, I can talk about cars and maintenance. You know, working on stuff, fixing things. Between the three of us, you know, I can get along with all of y'all. And here's the thing. I am a jack of all trades and a master of none, right? You gentlemen are the masters. I learned more talking to y'all than of what I already know, but we can talk shop. And that's what I love about being me.
Oh.
Now, if only I had something I could talk to John about, because I don't own a gun.
No, but you've driven a tank before. I saw it at LibertyCon. It was done up like one of the Blues Brothers cars or something.
Oh, the Crown Victoria, we painted up like the Bluesmobile.
Yeah,
we did that because my uncle was getting out of jail, and we're from Chicago, so you know your brother gets out of jail, right? You got to show up as the Blues Brothers Blues. Got to. Your brother getting out of jail. Oh, my dad showed up. He had the suit and tie and the hat and the sunglasses. My uncle came out of jail and he walked up and he saw the way we painted up the car. He immediately just had a big grin on his face, and he opens up the passenger door. My dad handed him a hat. He put the hat on, sat down, closed the door. Fixed the cigarette lighter was the first words that came out of his mouth. He didn't even say hello.
Were they on a mission from God, though?
Oh God, we made jokes the rest of that afternoon. Oh God, it was everything.
That was the first LibertyCon where I saw somebody out in the parking lot walking up and down in a full Darth Vader costume in July in Chattanooga.
Okay, that guy was weird though. That guy was weird because he
never broke character.
He wouldn't even take the damn thing off.
That's what I'm saying. He never broke character. I don't know who it was.
Those 501st guys are weird. They are all weird. I don't. They showed up like that to one of the Bugapaloozas, and I mean, it was literally like you couldn't talk to them. You could just be like, "Hey, man, how are you doing?" And it'd be all like, "Get away from here, citizen. This is an area that is being patrolled by the Empire."
Oh.
The freaking car show, you nerd. Why are you even here? This is Volkswagens. Do they have Volkswagens on Alderaan?
Oh, they show up at the World of Wheels, too.
Yeah.
They didn't come back.
They
didn't come back. They pissed off enough
do,
people, I think. They didn't get asked back. It was pretty funny.
Backup bit parts in Mandalorian when there weren't enough Stormtrooper costumes to go around. Some of the 501st showed up with their own gear and were in the background shots.
And Dave Filoni, or whatever his name is, said he felt real bad putting those guys in the back because their costumes were better than what
the studio provided.
Yeah.
I do want to point out something about it's in relation to that. I just found out recently something that I always kind of knew sort of might have happened. But I never got a confirmation about it until recently. I think the news kind of just never brought it up, or not the regular everyday news, not your kind of news, Lewis. I mean, like the pop culture nerd news, never really brought it up. So I only recently found out about this, and I don't think it was a secret. I just found out because nobody really talks about it. Mm-hmm. But Kevin Smith did make a cameo in Force Awakens.
Yeah, he was a stormtrooper.
We knew he was on set. He pointed out he wasn't in costume. He just voices a stormtrooper.
Oh, okay.
And if you ask him which one, he'll just be like, I can't tell you that. Just go back and watch the movie. And if you go back and watch the movie, there's literally like 2 stormtroopers in the whole film that never say anything. He's one of them.
Oh, he voiced someone that doesn't have any lines.
Well, Prince Harry and William did a...
no, Dan, there's 2 stormtroopers in the whole entire film. There's basically only 2 stormtroopers in the whole entire film who say anything, right? There's only 2, right? Outside,
I thought you said say nothing.
There's 2 in the entire film who basically, they're the only 2 that have like lines, right? There's the one who reports the thing about I don't remember exactly what he says, but it's the thing that makes Kylo Ren have his little crybaby fit and start hitting things with his lightsaber. And then the other one is traitor. And it's like, which one do you think Kevin Smith got to voice? Oh, I bet it would be the one where he got to yell one word and that was it. I have to watch Force Awakens again. I've got it on Blu-ray, but
no. I originally I thought, oh yeah, Silent Bob gets to play a stormtrooper that doesn't say anything. Yep, well, that's typecasting.
I remember years ago when they asked him, they were like, with the prequels coming out, are you gonna make an appearance? And he was like, no, God no. What would they have me be? The portly stormtrooper, the one that keeps having to take off his helmet because he's just all like, you guys run a lot. I'm just gonna hang back here and smoke a cigarette.
That would have been good. It would have been a better show. Never mind.
Tell us what you really think, Joe.
I tell you what I really think. I saw Force Awakens in the theater. My best buddy in the whole wide world, Audrey, sat next to me. They cried. They did. They cried during that scene. You know what scene I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. And I remember sitting there thinking, I was like, you know what? That was a good movie. And then I was sitting at home later that night. We were all gushing about the film and stuff. And then we went to bed and everything was fine until I woke up the next morning and realized, did we just not watch A New Hope again? That's what that fucking movie was. It was just New Hope again. It was New Hope with a different cast. That's all it was.
There's nothing new under the sun.
Crap. It's New Hope. That's all it is. It's just New Hope again.
Gentlemen, feel free to jump in at any time. It's your show.
No, I'm thinking that.
Oh, that's always a dangerous thing.
Oh yeah. No, I'm just having memories that me and my son have seen every one of the triple trilogies in a theater.
Oh, wow. I can't even say that.
I've seen every Star Wars movie in a theater, but my son didn't come around until like the prequels.
Mm. Well, when they re-released,
I was going to say it was the re-releases.
Yeah, the re-release.
I got to go see.
Yeah. And we also went to see Rogue One, which was probably the best one in the entire series.
It was the one where Darth Vader was definitely the most badass.
Yeah. Without a doubt, Rogue One was the best Star Wars movie filmed. Period.
You know what I hate about Rogue One, though? I hate about Rogue One is the same problem that I have with everything that's come out since Disney bought Star Wars. And that is that they got rid of the extended universe and they're making their own universe. And that's fine. It's their intellectual property. They can do with it what they want. It's not the first time that we've seen retcons in Hollywood, okay? Sometimes those retcons are for the better. Because, for example, Halloween, retconning all of the BS of Halloween that happened since Halloween 2, which I admit Halloween 2 is a good movie, but again, it's fine. It's fine. Going back and doing a direct sequel to the first movie and changing the history and everything was fine because we got a really good movie out of it, and there's going to be really good sequels, and I'm glad to see Jamie Lee Curtis is back being a badass in those films. But with Star Wars, I have a problem with it for one specific reason. Personally, I have a specific reason that I have a problem with it. Because Rogue One makes it out like this group of rebels were the ones that got the Death Star plans. This group of rebels went out of their way on this suicide mission to get the Death Star plans. I'm sorry, that's not correct. One single man got the Death Star plans. His name was Kyle. His name was Kyle Katarn, and he's a badass, and everybody should play Dark Forces because that game.
I thought his name was Manny Bothans.
No, it's Kyle Katarn. It's Kyle Katarn from Dark Forces, which is a first-person shooter from the 90s. Used to play.
I will tell you all what I tell all my friends who are Star Trek and Star Wars canon purists. You do realize this is all made up shit, right?
Yeah. Well, actually,
okay. No. That's the end of the conversation. You're just making it up. So like this says, okay. Steven Spielberg and I obey the same laws of storytelling. The only difference is he can make shit up and I can't. It's all made up.
I do want to point out that one of the best lines that I've ever heard Kevin Smith ever say was during one of his evenings with Kevin Smith. He was talking about Superman, and he was like, Superman kisses Lois Lane at the end of Superman 2, and she forgets everything that just happened, and she turns to Jimmy and just goes, "What's going on in the world?"
Jedi mind trick.
Of course, then you get the credits and the music and everything else. And the scene after that was Jimmy just being all like, "What are you kidding me? Superman just beat up the Kryptonian criminals." He was like, "You care to step outside, General? You weren't there for that. You were here the whole time. What are you talking about, right?" And that wasn't a power that he had in the comics, and that just seems really stupid to me. And I would tell that to my friends, and they would look at me and go, "Kevin, it's all stupid. What are you talking about? It's Superman." It's just a bunch of made-up bullshit.
Well, in Star Wars, there was a line that Leia said that referred back to Rogue One.
What, many Bothans died? Or no, that's Vader.
No, she said many people died to get these plans.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there trying to figure out, okay, now how are they going to get off this planet and all that? And then that rolled back through my head, and I went, "Oh God, they're all going to die."
Yep.
And it was like one of those. That's. Did you feel it too? Did you remember that when you saw it, or?
Yeah,
I remember in the original briefing for. Just as they were about to go and attack the first Death Star, many Bothans died to bring us these plans. And it turns out Many Bothans was the name of the one guy that grabbed the plans and didn't make it out, but the plans got out inside an R2, but no.
And of course, that Vader scene down the corridor.
I know you've seen the re-edit of the Obi-Wan and Darth fight.
Oh yes,
that is absolutely beautiful. I don't know how they did that, but they pieced together a bunch of stuff.
I will say one thing is that throughout the history of the making of Star Wars movies, the lightsaber fighting technique got much better.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Isn't there somebody online that has critiqued different sword fights from different movies and actually
There's
thought
something
a couple
online
of
where
those
people
were
critique
good?
everything. So
Well, yeah, but there's somebody, probably Nick Talkert would know exactly who it is.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
It might
Maybe.
be Nick.
you want to know a really cool factoid about Phantom Menace that I discovered just recently?
What?
Well, you know, the Liam Neeson, it was actually a trained sword fighter. He had to learn sword fighting for another movie that he did. So he's actually a trained sword fighter.
Hmm.
You know how if you do something for a really long time, like muscle memory starts to kick in?
Mm-hmm.
So he would be in the middle of doing lightsaber battles, and then he would pull out something just out of muscle memory that he knew what to do as a sword fighter. And the choreographers would be going, no, a Jedi would never do that. And he's like, but a sword fighter would. And he goes,
Samurai would.
we're not making a sword fighting movie. We're making a lightsaber movie. It's a totally different thing. And he's like, it's not a different thing. It's the same. It's literally the same exact. What are you talking about? And Liam Neeson would get really confused on set, and they would just be like, just do it the way we want you to do it. It'll look better on camera. So he basically had to unlearn how to be a sword fighter in order to make a sword fighting movie.
That would be like telling Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan not to do one of the things they know how to do.
True though. It's true though. They did it to Wesley Snipes. You didn't know about that?
And which one?
Demolition Man. Wesley Snipes is a trained martial artist. He really is. Like his movements were so fast that the cameras couldn't catch them on camera. He would move so fast that the camera wouldn't catch. So all you would see was just like a quick blur, and then he would be right back to where he was whenever you would hit somebody. Right,
faster cameras,
and so that's why all of his punches and kicks in Demolition Man look so clumsy. He had to slow down for the cameras, right? And the problem was, again, he had to kind of unlearn that stuff, and that's why you see all this the Wesley Snipes movies. He eventually gets better, and it looks better until finally, like in Blade, he's like a total badass, right? And at that point, he unlearned all of his martial arts training. He had to relearn it after he kind of moved away from filmmaking for a while to relearn his martial arts training. Mm-hmm. He had to unlearn it so it looked better on camera. That's unfortunate, but you know, that's the way things are.
The lesson is they should have bought faster cameras. It would have been so much better. It would have been so much better if they let him go at his full skill set. Yeah. You could do it.
They were still shooting on film back then, man.
The problem's not with the speed of the camera, Dan. The problem is with the actor that he's playing against.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Remember, for every movement that Wesley Snipes makes, they've got to be able to counter. So,
well, if they're not trained to an equal skill set, it's going to look like marionettes.
True, but in this particular case, Lewis, it really was the camera. The camera was not able to pick up his movements because he was doing it so fast that all you would see was a quick blur for like 2 frames. That'd be it.
When Demolition Man was filmed, we didn't have digital cameras yet. They were still shooting on 35 or 70 millimeter film at 24 frames per second.
Exactly. Yeah.
They could shoot at 48 frames and slow it down, but there wasn't much leeway. I can set my camera, my $2,000 camera, at any one of several frame rates, and then when I've imported it into Premiere, I can edit it at any given frame rate, and it'll automatically adjust. Didn't have that technology in the 90s.
And now they have they have the technology now, right? They don't use it properly, which is a shame. No,
we got films like the 300. Did you see the 300?
Well, it's just 300, but yes, there's no
whatever. The Spartan movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
They use such a high frame
Frame rate.
refresh rate that it seems choppy. Same thing in Gladiator.
The one that I always
When
bring
you
up.
slow it down for human perception, it looks bad.
The one that I always bring up, because it's the one that I think of whenever I think of that looking really, really bad, is Saw. Because what they do in Saw is that they'll run the camera when they record certain scenes, when they really want the action to seem really crazy and stuff. They run the camera at like 120 frames per second, and they just pull every fourth frame out, right? So that will end up slowing it down to or it's something like that. It's like 120 frames per second. They pull every frame out, so it slows it down to 60 frames or something, or every other frame.
Yeah.
And it makes it all. It makes it look so. Oh, it's all jittery and it's scary and it's freaky and it moves really fast and it's insane. But it's like, yeah, but it also looks terrible.
Yeah. What typically happens though is in motion pictures, you're shooting 24 frames per second. And normally the shutter speed is 1/24th of a second. That way the shutter is open the entire second. It's open 24 times, but it's open for the entire second. Now, if you take that shutter speed and you reduce that to 1/1000th of a second, okay, you're no longer getting 1 full second of action. You're getting 24 1/1000ths of a second of action. And it looks choppy as hell. And it's terrible.
Yeah.
And it should never, ever be used.
But they use it, and it. I mean, it does create some really cool looking effects. But you're like,
don't shoot the whole movie that way, though.
I can't see.
Yeah.
I can't. What is happening in this scene? Why is that guy jerking around like it's stop motion animation on crack?
Matrix bullet time, absolutely off the scale, innovative. Loved it. But it's a gimmick. Use it once or twice in a movie. That's it. Don't shoot the whole movie like that.
Yeah. 60 frames per second is pretty much the absolute limit of human perception for frames per second. Anything faster than that is going to look weird. Anything slower than that, as long as it's not too much slower, will look normal. Let's see, which was it?
Well, I was going to say the original bullet time, the way that they did that was really cool. But
that was multiple cameras.
But since then, the way they've been doing bullet time has been it's a weird digital thing that they do now with drones, and I'm just like, it doesn't have that same. It looks too good. Does anybody know what I mean by that? It looks too good. There's an uncanny valley with film techniques like that.
Exactly. If you get beyond the limits of human perception, things start looking weird.
When they introduce the different comedians on This Is Not Happening, that's one of the things I'm talking about, where they whip the camera around them real quick, and they're doing it so fast that it looks like they're standing still, and it's got this like still shot of them like on a pedestal doing like this or whatever, right? But it looks so clean and so crisp and so nice because they're using a digital camera and they're doing it all digitally that it just looks fake. And it just, so I'm like, oh, wow, that's a really nice Tom Green statue they have there. Even though I know for a fact that's actually Tom Green. You know, I don't know, it's very weird and it's very off-putting, especially when they add in the digital effects around it too, where it's just all like, yes, there's definitely sparks coming off of that person. And drinks being held, thrown in the air or whatever. It's very, I don't know, the whole entire thing's weird. That's why if I ever get my opportunity to make a movie, obviously the first few films I'm going to do, I'm going to have to do on digital because it's cheap. But one day I do want to shoot at least one film on film just so it looks right. Maybe a period piece. I don't know. Maybe I'll do something based in the 70s since I love the 70s so much, 70s and 80s.
And experiment here, is my video or audio going choppy again, or has it always been
yes
tonight?
No, it's going choppy now that you've put your Matrix background up.
Okay, let me take
I don't know what he said.
Where's the button?
No, Lewis, you were talking about how the actor's so fast that the other person has to react. That reminds me of the YouTube video of the guy trying to teach the self-defense.
Yeah.
And the
I
guy
think I know
would
which one you're talking about.
stab with a knife. The other guy would knock it away and then slap him.
Yeah.
Sounds like a Trinity movie.
Oh, I love the Trinity series. There's
Those
three
were
of them.
fantastic.
Have you
I
ever
only
seen those,
know of
Lewis?
two, but I don't think I've ever seen the third one.
It's Terrence Howard is the actor, and the first one is They Call Me Trinity. They Call Me Trinity. Trinity's
Trinity is Still My Name, I think is the second.
It's the second one, and then Trinity is Still My Name. And the second one's where his brother comes in.
Hey, Joe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hate to interrupt, but there was something we forgot to do.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Well. All right, now. All right, get
Time
your.
for a dramatic reading.
All right, let me find it. It's.
Oh, I've got it. It's already ready to go. Does somebody have a stopwatch or something?
No.
All right, Lewis is getting the phone now.
Can somebody get a stopwatch?
Lewis
Yeah.
Just let me know when you're ready, Lewis.
Go.
It's Stupid O'Clock and Armchair Rocket Science are proud members of the Rising Tide Broadcast Network, where Rising Tide raises all ships. This is our program schedule all times are Eastern, Sunday with Comics Chaos and Sass at 10 p.m. on Facebook, Mondays, never mind the furthermore, at 10 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube. Tuesdays, Clever Title Pending at 8 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube, and TED Talks at 10 a.m. on YouTube. Wednesdays, never mind the furthermore, at 10 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube. Thursdays, TED Talks at 11 a.m. on YouTube. Creative as Hell at 8 p.m. and on Facebook, Stupid O'Clock at 9 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. Comic Book Spectrum at 7 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. Fridays, never mind the furthermore, at 10 a.m. Facebook and YouTube. Michaela Jade's Tidbits and Scribbles at 7 p.m. on Facebook. Historical Fencing Guild at 8 p.m. on YouTube. Saturdays, Stupid O'Clock at 11 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. And we have the wild card of Armchair Rocket Science, where whenever launches are scheduled by NASA, SpaceX, or Blue Origin, Facebook, and YouTube at www.facebook.com/Rising Tide Broadcast Network for more information.
Just under a minute.
And I only screwed up once. I screwed up on Michaela's name because it's hard to say.
I keep waiting for somebody to accidentally have a Freudian slip for Michaela's show.
Wait, wouldn't be the worst.
I am not going to say it.
She's doing it on purpose, though, because it's Michaela.
I know she's doing it on purpose, but
she wants somebody to say titbits.
Hey, be right out of Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, sniffing for titbits like me on the ground.
I was listening to that song today because it was playing at Walmart.
All right, guys. It's time to say good night, everybody.
Well, it's time to say goodnight to this crowd.
Yeah.
We'll see you on the after show if you ever show up.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Lewis, for being here. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Skunk. We will see
John,
everybody.
Where are you, son?
Yeah, where is John?
Come out of the John, boy.
Where's John? I need to complain about these boots he gave me.
Good night, John boy.
All right. Good night, everybody.
I have slipped the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God.